Okay, here goes nothing. Um, we're pretty sure this is not a battery problem, even though it may have resulted in one over time. We're pretty sure this is a starter motor issue. I'm in my element. I really need some insight on why so much would resemble a battery problem when getting a new battery yesterday. Had me, starting right up. And after running the car for a while, my car would start right up. But every morning, especially the cold ones, dead. Um, so I've been, I've had problems over the years. I've done this and that, just as most people. I've been there, done that, and tackled a lot of things and learned a lot of things. And I pretty much learned for the first time that starters can be very temperature sensitive. Um, we all know they can sometimes have problems when they're hot, but it does make sense that when they're cold, if they're not wanting to, if they're losing their stability, their pressure, whatever, that when they're cold, they require more amperage and more power. Um, Hooking up my truck, I got all my lights, I got a horn, I got headlights, yet I still was only getting this like 2 or 3 cranks, and then it was like the battery would die or something. It just went wow, 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 wow. And I'm like, what the hell? It just sounds like a dead battery or a weak battery, just juiced out, maxed out. But then I get a new battery and it does the same thing. Weird. So I'm going to turn it off. This is basically for my dad and for me. This is just part of some troubleshooting. I want insight from anybody, though, on if they've had a Honda or, of course, any car that's had similar issues. Where the starter, it's not a starter problem where you don't get any sound at all. Like, we all know that little problem where you got a good enough battery and you just get some clicking sounds or you get nothing or whatever. This is where the starter actually cranks over, but it's just like it's not powerful enough. So for all I know, and this is where the insight is important, because you may have had the same issue, but I've had lots of leaky power steering rack stuff, and this is one of those higher racks. You got your tie rod ends up above, so they're not toward the middle where your axle is or below it or whatever. They're on the high end, and so that over time, and I had a line that, and my power steering pump is above the alternator. Oh wow, gee, perfect engineering, so that when that leaks, it can leak right on your alternator, and blow the thing out. So what I'm going to do is turn this off and see if when it's hot, when it's warm, which it has been doing just fine, that it starts. So I'll run it, I'll get to work, and it usually starts, especially at lunch. Today I get all the way toward work, and the thing's already been on for 45 minutes. It's quite a commute. Even on a Saturday, it's 45 minutes of higher RPMs. I get over to an AM/PM. I accidentally shut it off without thinking that maybe you might want to keep it on, and I go to crank it over. It doesn't crank. I put my jump box on the battery, which never has any luck, and nope, it doesn't start. I call my work to come rescue me. They're like, yeah, we'll be there in a minute. 30 seconds later, I start it, and it starts. I'm like, I call them back to try and cancel that little rescue mission, and apparently she said she was going to tell them, and apparently the guy had already was on their way. So that just wasn't cool. And this whole thing has been a mess. And I'm like I'm distraught over this. I've had enough with this. And and I warranted a battery from O'Reilly's, which, I put them through enough. So if it turns out it's just a starter, and I do replace the starter, and everything's golden, I'm going to make good on that. I have to give them that money for that battery, because I don't think, the battery was the issue at this point. So, all right, enough of my blabbering. Here we go. Good thing I'm home. I'm only doing this because I'm home now. I'm not going to, chance this. So, I'm guessing, I have a $5 bet right now with anybody that it's going to start. So here goes off. No lights on, nothing. I bet you it starts. Very weak, very weak. And I think it only starts because it's warm. And we all know things flow better, free up more, easier when they're warm. I bet you I can do this all day long, warm. Nope. Nothing. So there we go. Look at this. Watch this. Battery. Lots of battery. Strong shit. But watch. Nope. One crank and it's over. Alright. So that's going to... I already know that my dad is going to say definitely starter. The starter's just on its way out. I bet you it's the fluid that's been, who knows, could just be old, but I bet you it has something to do with fluid draining on it. So that's odd that it did it for me. So what I'm going to do is part of my, so we're going to do it cold later. Probably not going to happen. Probably not at all. I should, part of my experiment, I'm not going to worry about it, but I should put, what's that, Bubba? He's been enduring a lot today too. I went through a lot today. A lot of anxiety, and he reacts. I should put my jump box up to it, but I've done enough today to know that that's really not necessary now. I'm gonna let this thing cool. I'm gonna record another session. I'm gonna do a part 2 when it's cold. So this one's gonna be the hot version. What, did that just go off? Yeah. Okay. So, oh no, that was just the sound. It's getting low. All right, so this is the hot version. The next one, we'll have a part 2 here. Sorry, I'm giving you the long versions because I'm really tired. I'm hungry. I need that pizza, and I need that couch. Huh, Bubbas? We going to chill.